today, being Wednesday, definitely we'll also have him, and I will ask him to say hello to our viewers, and then we shall proceed.
Good morning, viewers. Nice to be with you once again.
Okay, sir. The previous time we were here, and definitely we're trying to dig deeper into the ruling that he is up to now opposed to, and I want to, Prof, ever since we met the previous week, it's now 7 days. It's a week gone. What has transpired since we last met in regards to
a
regards to
lot
this?
of things have happened. I want you, Norman, to be the witness that today I am going to make a statement and express views which will live forever in Uganda and Africa. I have had a discussion this morning with the Professor Pierre Lumumba of Kenya, the renowned African jurist. And he's aware of what I'm going to say. I hope he'll have the time to repeat it in Kenya today. It is the most important that any state, any man has ever done on the administration of justice in Africa. Before I do that, I bring greetings to our viewers and listeners from Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi and Honorable Rakana Rugunda. They jointly invited me yesterday to meet them, and that meeting I think is recorded in some of the social media because at first they were there. But then we held private talks. I wanted to say, because of what we discussed and what I came to know which I haven't known, I wanted to apologize publicly and internationally to our President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, because many of the things I wrote about and blamed for, he didn't know about. My criticism of those things and my stand remains the same, that we are now is the most corrupt nation in the world. That remains. That we are the most badly governed government in the world forever. That statement remains. But my apology is for me to have thought that President Museveni played much part in all this. I have now known that those so-called ministers, advisors, permanent secretaries, never tell him the truth. He's not as big as the bee's queen, but we have been treating him like that bee. It is the most huge organism in the kingdom of bees. But it doesn't move on its own. It doesn't speak on its own. So its bees carry messages, feed it, and they do everything for it. I don't know how they do it, but I'm told if there is danger, they can even carry it into a new hive.
It's too fat.
But it's so big, you can't believe that happens.
It's too fat to even fly.
Yes, it can't fly. That is what has happened to Museveni, the president of Uganda.
So he's this big bee.
He's been exhausted. But now, every statement from government, it is the president has spoken. The president has ordered. But he doesn't. Even sometimes when they call him, it's because there is a crisis like the queen bee. So they carry him there to speak on behalf of
the rest of the bees.
I want Uganda to know this is the most important revelation that has ever occurred in our country, if not in the whole world. Let me go further. I used DHL to deliver a message to my President Museveni, whom now I am calling my president, because he's innocent of the 90 accusations, allegations they have made about him, because he never even knew about them. So I sent a letter to him through DHL. If you like, I can show you the receipt of DHL here, showing DHL received it. It was received by a young lady, I think from Fort Portal, who was very happy to see me. Said, it will reach this morning. And indeed it reached. But President Museveni never got it. A letter delivered by DHL, which everybody trusts in the world, has never reached President Museveni. I wondered why he has never answered it. So I wanted to state publicly that the President Museveni is innocent of all these allegations made against his government and against some of the ministers who I know are not corrupt or liars. For those also whom I mentioned, I want to apologize publicly. You can't blame a man where all messages you send to him are blocked before he reads them. I was with my younger brothers yesterday, Right Honorable Hakana Rugunda and Right Honorable Mbabazi. And we both said it is wrong to continue addressing Honorable Janet Museveni, First Lady. She understands Runyachitara. President Museveni understands Runyachitara. First Lady in Runyachitara means my favorite wife.
Amongst many.
Amongst many. First Lady, I hope these writers, Kalinachi, the editor of New Vision, of which I am co-owner, you are listening. First Lady in our language means my favorite wife among the many I have married. I wanted to state categorically, to my knowledge, Museveni has one wife Janet Museveni, and I know he loves her. If Kalanachi, the editor of Monitor, and if the editor and the owners of New Vision knew better that Museveni has got more than one wife, please continue calling his first wife
First lady.
First Lady. Otherwise, we should never hear that word again. We were in Chitara written in the newspaper. That's the one first statement I wanted to make for Uganda and the world to hear. And many of you understand the Chitara, which includes Lunyankole and Ruchiga. Recently, I was hospitalized. Many people thought I have died. The Constitutional Court, led by my good friend Engonda Ntende, also believed I had died in hospital. Their judgment, which is treasonable, Kanyeihamba and Wavamuno, the only petitioners they had all, are still alive. Our lawyer, by the name of Owundo, president-elected president of Uganda Law Society, came here a few days ago, worried. Obviously, he's very new at the law, he doesn't understand all the laws, to ask me that, Professor Kanyeihamba, but the Court of Appeal said you should have gone to another court, and you are asking them to interpret Article 137 of the Constitution. I said, Mr. learned friend of mine, and now that he's president, he's also SC, senior counsel.
Senior, yeah.
I said, look in our submission. Is there anywhere where we are asking the court to interpret anything? We listed Article 137 because it contained the right to ask for petition, for interpretation. We are not asking the Court of Appeal to interpret it. I challenge you, Engonda Ntende, and Elizabeth Musoke, I know you. One of you was my student at Makerere. Show the world where in our submissions we are saying interpret the Constitution or interpret this law. Mugenyi. What was his second name?
There is Mugenyi, there's also Madrama, one of the...
Madrama
is also one of the...
Madrama
was one of the...
Then the other one?
There is Gashirabake.
Gashirabake is from Kigezi. Gashirabake, you wrote your judgment in 2021 before we appeared before and Adu. How did you? Are you an angel? You are above God.
Then Monica K. Mugenyi.
Then there was Mugenyi.
Yeah, Monica K. Mugenyi.
Monica Mugenyi, I once met you and you said you respect me. How did you write that we should have taken? we should have taken the court, rather the petition in another court. Which one? Please tell the listeners, and Norman is here. Call us now and tell it where should Kanyeihamba has taken the petition before the Constitutional Court. Where does it say, Mugenyi, I respect you, my lady, Mugenyi? Where do we say in our petition, interpret Article 137? The only thing we are saying, enforce those rights we have enumerated, which are in Article 137, Article 1, Article 2, extra 40, apply and enforce and protect. Those are our players. Enforce, protect, and apply. Those words are not interpret. My Lord Mugenyi, were you drunk when you drafted the lead judgment? Now let me break the news for the whole world. There have been an exchange between the press and the judiciary. When I went to receive the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which is now we know is treasonable, because the judges said, President Museveni is above the law and is above God. The Chief Justice, Alfonso Dolo Owini, the current Chief Justice of Uganda, said that judgment against Professor Kanyeihamba is a nullity. This is the Chief Justice of Uganda speaking. Because you can't deliver a judgment, even when one judge who had this is absent. When the registrar of the court of the Constitutional Court handed me a copy of the so-called judgment, she never read it. No judge ever read it. No judge was present. Therefore, if you follow our Chief Justice that is right and going intending, you should retire now. Because the Chief Justice said, your judgment is no judgment. I am speaking as someone who only a few months ago, everybody thought had died and was in a coma. Now you can listen, you Ugandans. Am I speaking like somebody who is sick? Therefore, I must be inspired by something I don't know. I didn't call the meeting yesterday. The day before, it was called by your former prime ministers, whom you respected, who headed the government, Dr. Uganda and Amama Mbabazi. Actually, there is another judgment pending, 320 and Kanyeihamba versus Nzeyi and Mama Mbabazi. Mama Mbabazi explained to me when we had this meeting. What he said is confidential. But everybody knows that the National Bank of Commerce, which they continue telling everybody, including Museveni, it is in our books, it disappeared a long time ago. They sold it to another consortium in Abu Dhabi. It is no longer existing. But Bank of Commerce, where he tells lies that he converted it international bank commerce. Exit. And he and I were directors. And we owe the revenue authority the dues from us for the last 10 years. Mba! Say, are you listening? Amos, my friend, are you listening to me? I am sick and dying, am I? You ask God. Only God Almighty knows when people are going to die. And as I speak now, people hearing me from my house, some power is empowering me. It's not me. You Ugandans. President Museveni, are you listening? I forgive you because they have been deceiving you. I am going to invite the Archbishop of Kampala, Semogerere, who heads the Catholic faithful in Uganda and is an envoy of the Holy Father in Rome. I'm going to invite the Archbishop of Uganda, Kazinda, who leads all the Protestant Christians in Uganda and is an envoy of Canterbury, the headquarters of the Anglican community, to come here. I am hoping, but he will be busy, he may not come, to invite His Excellency President Museveni to grace the occasion. Certainly, I know that if she is not busy, my good friend, Honorable Janet Museveni, the wife of my president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will come. And I'm going to ask her to also give a prayer. I am inviting all these people to come to my residence here and share in a solemn prayer of thanks because God has kept me going all this time. Not, the doctors are wonderful. I had a small operation by doctors at Nakasero Hospital. Dr. Dungu of the Memorial School. Dr. Rwakana Rugunda, donning his other clothes as a doctor. Dr. Sekabanja and others. The experts in Paranomic Hospital joined hands on the call of God to let Kanyeihamba live. Their estimate, not of God, is that I may live another 10 to 20 years. But that is the exclusive province of God, not of you, my friend, Engondanten. Certainly not the province of Justice, who is the one who led the...
There's Mugenyi.
Mugenyi. And when you were young, I used to admire your beauty. Oh my God, what has happened to you?
I have a question here for you from one of the viewers.
Yes, I
And,
want to hear what from one of the judges.
and for now,
But
no.
this is one of
This
the
is one of
viewers.
the viewers.
Let me hear from him.
And I will also intermarry it with your saying where you people say, no sooner had my ship gotten lost than
Yes,
you
yes,
get.
yes.
So now the concern here is no sooner had you met your friends Amambabas and Rugunda than you came to apologize to Mr. Museveni. What could have transpired in that meeting?
Because I told you it is private. So how can you ask me
a private meeting to be?
No, how do you want me to reveal a private meeting? Won't I be betraying our confidence? Yeah, come on.
So you
be a Ugandan.
So this Ugandan asks, because in regards to the interpretation of the question, it's as if you were compromised to now apologize.
I'm not compromising. The reason has had me say, I now have information that every letter, every message I sent to the president, he never received it.
What did they advise after knowing?
I advised him to resign now.
No, I mean these two, your friends, former prime ministers, Amambabas and Ruhakana Rugunda, after realizing that the letters, every entire communique that you were sending to the president, that it wasn't reaching him.
Have I talked to they are the one who told me?
No, I mean, what did they advise after establishing?
No, it is secret. I repeat, it was a private meeting between us. And I will not disclose it.
I will also put
the person who told me that one of the judges we have mentioned, what is his name, from Kegezi?
You mean there is Justice Christopher Gashiravake.
Yes, Justice Gashiravake, which is certainly the name from Kigezi. He supported a judgment that was written in 2022 before we submitted anything in the Court of Appeal. My brother from Kigezi, were you drunk when you supported that judgment? Already, number one. Number two, you had written 17 pages when my spy came to your office to see when you are going to deliver the judgment. Didn't find you there. And you had already written 17 pages of your judgment in which you say the petition is by so-and-so plus Professor Kanyeihamba, and you had put in a bracket, RIP. Most people understand it, rest in eternal peace. But maybe you meant rather retire in peace. Tell the world now, Judge, what did you mean? Because I know you are still speaking and you are sober. So having said that, my information, I'm going to tell you another shocking story, is not from only Mbabazi or Hakani Rugunda, and I have not said anything what they told me. It was a conversation in private. And you keep privacy when you are a man of God. The one who asking you a question, he knows that. I can't reveal what Hakani Rugunda, but what they told me, I can tell you, they both condemned that judgment against me as anti-God and treasonable. That's the one they said. And that's what I can tell you. Is there another question?
And apparently no.
No. Very good. So let me continue. The most shocking them all, and I told you today will go in history, no man, make it go in history. That is one of the most important revelation day that I have ever had in Africa, not just in Uganda. On Saturday last, I was sleeping, but waking up when a call came. A man said, "You have a message from State House." The only messages I ever get from State House, apart from my informers, they are there. My informers are in Parliament, they are in the State House. They don't tell you, and I don't tell them who you are. Is either from the president himself or from those informers. The message was certainly not from my informers. It was allegedly from President Museveni himself. President Museveni sent me a message, allegedly, saying he wants to see me. He hasn't seen me for a long time. I was very excited, really. I told my daughter to put on my best dress. I went outside to wait to see Museveni's envoy, who was sitting out here waiting for me. I realized he's not one of my informers. So I said, "Yes, well, when does the president want me?" He laughed. "You have been fooled." I said, "I've been fooled?" He said, "Yes. The person who is calling you is General, what is his name? Kasi.
Rusoke.
It's okay.
Rusoke.
What is the other name?
I am not certain about his other. I am not certain about his other name.
Yeah, it's General Isoke. General Isoke, listening to you, the whole world, is the chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Unit. But as you can say, he's the most corrupt of them all. Catch a thief, hire a thief to catch thieves. I don't think that message ever reached Museveni. That's why I'm apologizing. I think somebody told him, who is corrupt, hire the best thief. And that is the general. It's okay. So when I went outside to be accompanied to the president's audience, instead the conspirator sent, "No, it is not the president who wants you, but General Isoke." So I went to General Isoke, but instead of going, General Isoke, in a panic, had already arrived here in my house. General Isoke told the whole world, "Why did you say the president wanted me, but actually it was you? And when I was about to go to State House, you arrived here in my residence with your lawyers." One of them has told me they have not investigated my claim that Bazira, the former mayor of Entebbe. I hope Norman, you can tell anybody I have no notes, I'm not reading anything. It is God who's helping me to speak the way I'm speaking. But no Ugandans understand that. Because we have come, the Africa's first of Sodom and Gomorrah of Africa. Sodom and Gomorrah, I don't want to explain. Christians know what it is, including Honorable Janet Museveni. And until there is some sacrifice of people like Lot's wife and those who perished when Sodom and Gomorrah was cleaned, Uganda will remain a failed state equivalent to Sodom and Gomorrah of the Bible. Many people, even now, don't think I am the one speaking because I'm supposed to be dead. I haven't been resurrected. I am human, flesh and blood. You are seeing me, you can touch me.
Today you walked.
Today is the beginning of the end of NRA. But not of Museveni, whom now I have changed my mind. Instead of retiring now, I want to retire in 2026. Then we shall discuss for these 4 years coming, who is to replace him as president of Uganda, because we need one. There are people who are aspiring to be. They include my own younger brother, Amama Mbabazi. They include my other younger brother, Mugisha Muntu. They include Chiza Besigye. He hasn't left, and if he has, I want him to come back in the ring. The one who replaced him in his party, Amriat, he disappeared in oblivion. We no longer hear from him. So he's not in the running. Chagulanye, I think, still is. But he's the leader of the opposition, Mpuga, seems to be dreaming of a minister position in the NRM, like my good friend, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, called Nobati Mao. So those are like Lot's wife in the kingdom of Sodom and Gomorrah, who looked backwards. They became pillars of salt. I pray God forgive my friends Mpuga and Robert Mao. Don't make them pillars of salt. They are much sweeter than that. Now, lastly, let me tell you. Yesterday, my fellow petitioner, Alex Wavamuno, and I, in our petition, which when the judges heard I was going to receive judgment, ran away from the Constitutional Court. And the corrupt registrar threw at me outside the room. The Chief Justice of Uganda, and Norman, I want you to be brave from here. You put the question. Do you stand by your statement which you made to Mr. Derek Achionga, the co-author of Kanyeihamba, the Incredible? Do you deny your statement that you said to Chionga that if a judgment is set for judgment, all the judges who had it must be present in court. And if one of them dies before it is delivered, we must reconstitute the court. Then the case is heard against fresh. That's when we can deliver the judgment. Therefore, the judgment which Ngonda Ntende, Elizabeth Musoke, and what's the other man? You have a copy of the judgment.
Yeah, there is.
Read them, the others.
There is Justice Frederick Ngonda.
Frederick
Ntende,
Ngonda, the
Justice
other.
Elizabeth Musoke, Justice Christopher Madrama. Actually, this one has been promoted to Supreme Court.
Even Elizabeth.
Yes. Justice Monica K. Mujenyi. Justice Christopher Gashiravake.
You have given me, Norman, another information, which were the statement of the Chief Justice of Uganda, Alfonso Doro Wine, has described as a nullity. Apparently, one of the reasons Elizabeth Musoke was not there at the judgment is because she has been promoted already to the court to the Supreme Court. And obviously she will not sit on my appeal, because she cannot sit in her own judgment.
Even Madrama was also promoted to
those two.
Supreme Court.
I hope that the Judicial Service Commission is listening. Headed by, what is his name? Rabita. Hey, don't make any recommendation as to who are the judges to be on my appeal. And I hope our president is listening, who has run away from me. The current president of the Uganda Law Society has run away from me. He doesn't answer my phone. My lawyer, whom I paid to do the appeal, is called Fernando Byamujisha. He went to bury a relative in Itoro. It seems he's the one they buried because he doesn't answer his phone, but he left it on when he became unconscious. Oh, Katondo one. Ugandans, how much more do I have to be able to say Kanyeihamba is right?
I'm afraid we're going to break for a minute and come back as soon as we can. Viewers, we're coming back shortly, just in a few seconds.
La 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 la.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 070411 1720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk.
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here, Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Thanks for your patience. We are back again, and as we return, we have some other concerns that we want Justice Kanyeihamba to address. In particular, I want you to first of all brief our viewers on whether by the time UCB was sold, is it when you were Minister for Trade, or that was later?
I think I was, when it was sold.
On whether, maybe, so that we can put
I
on
know.
you had left.
I was the Attorney General.
Justice Kanyeihamba, I want to run away from.
I was the Attorney General.
By that time, okay, fine.
Yes.
So your friend, when he was giving his speech in the Mutebile Memorial Lecture, he said he blames the sale of UCB on Mutebile's ill advice. In his view, he says that Honorable Suruma was against the sale of UCB, but because Mutebile was, I want to believe, more knowledgeable about such transactions, he said he advised him to sell the bank.
Remind me the year when that was.
I will find out from my colleagues, let alone my
If
producer,
you
as
find
they
out,
bring the information.
I either was presidential advisor,
At the time UCB was
or
sold.
I was Minister of Justice, or I was Minister of Commerce. Those are the jobs I've had. Now, I want, you know, when we were on break, you saw me.
You were singing. By the
Yes, I
otherwise,
sang, and then I got some message. I don't tell you how I get it from. And I want to revise as a result of my information I got that I don't apologize to Museveni, but I forgive him. Those are very important two words. I do not apologize to President Museveni, but I forgive him. But that question you have asked me, Norman.
Yeah, Museveni blaming
Yes.
Mutebile for having ill-advised him.
Yes, is a part of the reason I have modified my view and I said I forgive him rather than I apologize.
Yeah, the bank, yeah, it was sold in 2002, February 2002.
2002.
Yeah, definitely you were not minister for trade at that time. That one we are sure.
No, I was, I think, Minister of Justice, wasn't I?
2002.
Or was I judge?
Most likely you must have been judged by 2002.
I was a judge.
So you wash your hands off
But I know,
the ill advice.
you know, German, please tell the whole world I never wash anything I have said my hand on
No,
that rose.
what I mean,
Don't say you wish.
I am repeating this
Yeah.
because the bank was sold when you were not minister for
No,
trade.
but I talked about
You're
it.
not part of the transaction.
No, I
at
was.
all.
I was part of it.
You were not part of the transaction. That's what I'm saying. But you
No,
were part of the
but I
government
talked about it.
when you were
Whatever
minister.
it was.
Yes.
Whether I was a judge.
You were opposed
minister, yes, I was opposed
to the sale
selling
of
it.
the UCB.
And the late Mwine Frank, who was my friend, he was here in my house when we said it would be wrong to sell
UCB.
UCB. And we said publicly, you see, you select things, the journalists, what you want to say, others you don't. We said, Suruma is right. Those are the words of Frank Mwine here in this house. And Mutebile is wrong to agree to the sale.
Where does it leave the president? Because he's the one who had the final say.
Where he lives in is what I have started, and I'm telling you today I'm inspired by some force I don't know. That's why I have modified my statement from I forgive to, rather from I apologize to I forgive. Because God said, when sinners confess, as President Museveni has now confessed, that he chose the wrong advice.
Yeah, definitely from
That instead of choosing the
Siruma's
advice which
Siruma
the
was giving.
late Mwine and Dr. Suruma had suggested, which was the correct one, he made a mistake and chose that of
Mutebile.
Mutebile. So that modifies my I apologize to I forgive. You see, you people who are listening, I am not the one speaking. You better find out who is speaking. Please go normally. So what I'm saying, when Governor Mutebile died, I wrote an obituary in, I think, Monitor or New Vision. And on this occasion, because I was praising a cadre of Museveni or an independent, they published it. For that, ask Karinachi to give me a copy of my obituary. He has got it. Or if I put it in New Vision, they have it. So please get a copy before we meet next week. And I have it on divine information that next week I will still be alive. And if I am dead, it will be by not natural causes, and some people will be arrested on that day. Immediately. So let me finish that one. Then Suruma wrote in the New Vision that it is a mistake to sell commercial bank. Then Mutebile said it will improve our economy. That's the one mistake he ever made, I know of, when he was alive. Then at his funeral, Museveni stated that I used to enjoy the debate between Dr. Suruma, now Vice Chancellor Makerere, And Governor Ntebide, the great economist Uganda has ever had. Can you imagine keeping a governor and a senior presidential advisor? Because I know that Suruma is still presidential advisor. For the whole, and you pay them, your government pays them handsomely, simply to enjoy their debate. Not their professionalism, not their performance to the country,
No advice, but the debate.
The enjoyment of the debating. I have said elsewhere in my inaugural public lecture on behalf of Kanyeihamba Foundation that when Mazuri used to give public lectures, the whole university stopped. Everybody who heard about it from the media came. And Mazuri when he spoke. But when he let us down, our faculty of social sciences then, Professor Chesimila, who was a senior lecturer, and I, plus Professor Shiashtandon, you don't know him, is I think sick in hospital, unfortunately. God bless you, Yash. We conspired and removed him from the deanship of the faculty and replaced him with Chesimila, who was a mere senior lecturer. And what they depended on is again a falsehood, saying all the deans of faculties in Makerere had always been professors, which was true but not correct. Because the law said, Makerere Act, anybody who is a member, not a professor, a member of the faculty is eligible to be dean. That's why we win Chesimila, because he was a lecturer in the faculty of economics, which was under Mazuri. Mazuri very, very arrogantly resigned as dean, but withdrew his candidature. So the expatriates who dominated the faculty, including people like the former Langlands, Professor Cook, had told him, we are going to nominate you. And because we are the majority in the faculty of social sciences, we shall win hands down. So they renominated Professor Mazuri to become dean, although he had stepped down. And he agreed. And I called Professor Tandon, he's still alive. Chesimila has gone away. And our supporters, I say they have fallen in the legal trap. They said, why? I say, Mazuri, these people have promised him they vote for him. They produced his name on the last minute, so he's not a nominee yet. But the law of Makerere says, where a candidate is nominated and there is no opposition to that candidate,
becomes an
he automatically becomes elected. They didn't know that. So we waited. Then they called the election for Chesimila. Is there only one candidate? But then the expatriates in that faculty suddenly springs Mazuli as a candidate to oppose Chesimila. I am the one who spoke. I said, no, it is too late for nominations. Nominations have been done last week. On that one, at least the experts agreed. But the CEO said, for us, we shall therefore vote no. So, I think it was Cook, somebody wrote a new form for which to vote. For Chesimila alone as a single candidate. Vote, do you support Chesimila or no? Vote yes or no. So we went into the faculty room. They produced that note at that minute. Vote yes or no.
So it was more or less a referendum.
Yes, a referendum. And they knew because the expatriates were so many, yes would win. I stood up again as a lecturer in the Department of Law, which was a part of social sciences. I said, Mr. Chairman, I stand on the point of order. Everybody was wondering what I'm going to say. I said, we have one candidate here nominated, and his name is Chesimila. Now, these clever expatriates are now introducing a new rule which I've never heard, that we should vote yes or no
on a single candidate.
So the vice chancellor was in chair, and he said, "What do you say about Kanyeihamba as a view?" They all said he's right. Chesimila was elected unopposed, thanks to Kanyeihamba. All that is not written in the Makerere.
I have your other questions in this remaining minute.
Yes.
I want to interest you with the case that I'm sure you have read, rather followed, the petition by the petitioner number 1 is retired Captain Amon Biarugava, number Hasibu Kasita, Matthias Rugira, and 167 others against the Attorney General. And this application was it's a constitutional petition number 044 of 2015. It's ruling rather came out late last year, and the same people. And I'm trying to follow their consistencies here. Justice Butera, your friend, dismissed the petition, and definitely also Justice Monica Mujenyi dismissed the petition. So it was 3 against 2. In particular, it was against the trial of civilians in the General Court Martial. Yesterday, if you watched the news, there were some young people who hail from NUP as a political party who were rather trying to demonstrate in court. Now the question becomes, this ruling came out late last year, and one of the justices here, I think the lead judgment by Justice Elizabeth Musoke was particular, where she said that the General Court Martial should not try civilians, and also said that those who have been sentenced and are serving a sentence under General Court Martial can continue with their sentences, but any new trials are deemed illegal. And your colleagues continue to try young people in the General Court Martial in as far as yesterday.
I am familiar with that case. As I have told you, I always read newspapers, listen to the media, so I'm always up to date. definitely that is another judicial scandal that has occurred, and Uganda seized by the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'll tell you why. I entirely agree with the judgment of the majority.
Yeah, that is.
And when the judgment is by the majority, it is the judgment that matters.
That is Justice Kakuru, Justice Chiyabwire, and Justice Elizabeth Musoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the majority, led by Kakuru, Elizabeth Musoke, and the Chiyabwire, were absolutely right. And correct in the interpretation of our constitution and the laws that were applicable in that case. I applaud them. Then the Attorney General, whom you know, is an expert on oil law and not on laws of procedure of Uganda, appealed. I wouldn't have appealed if I had been the Attorney General. But he appealed. It is his right. And the Chief Justice was already Alphonse Doro Owini. He chaired a panel of judges of the Supreme Court, and they had the appeal by the Attorney General. Then, as in my case, they reserved judgment. This is about more than 2 years ago. No judgment was fixed or delivered for those 2 years. Then the appellant, who had won in the first court, which is the Constitutional Court, but had appealed, that the Attorney General had appealed against his win in the Constitutional Court, questioned, and by the way, he's from Kigezi. Kigezi people are always making history. Something Kabaziko or something.
Yeah,
He was an MP for Kanakawa.
Yeah.
You see how details are in
Michael Kabaziguruka.
What is his name?
Michael Kabaziguruka.
Michael Kabaziguruka. I thank you for raising this very important constitutional matter on which the current Uganda Chief Justice Alphonse Doro Owini agrees with you that you had appealed to them and they had already had and concluded the hearing. The only thing that was remaining is the judgment of the court. So, unfortunately for us, one of those judges who had the judgment, or rather the proceedings, the petition, let me correct myself, who had the appeal was the late Opio. I forget his second name. He died, I said this year or last year. And the only rather excuse he gave, which I don't agree with, I don't agree with the excuse of the excuse of the Chief Justice, is that because Justice Opio died, they have to start hearing the appeal afresh. And they are waiting for the president of Uganda. What he didn't say, the president of Uganda is to be moved by the Judicial Service Commission. He can't move, he can't appoint himself. But he's saying, I am waiting for the president of Uganda to appoint a replacement of Justice Opio who died, so that we can hear the appeal afresh. Because no judgment can be delivered. I emphasize, no judgment can be delivered without all the judges who heard it are present in the court. That the Chief Justice has told Ngonde Ntende and Elizabeth Musoke and my brother from Kigezi that your judgment is a nullity. Your judgment against Kanyeihamba, the Chief Justice has said, is a nullity because all of you were not in the court when the corrupt registrar threw it to Kanyeihamba as he entered the court and said, "Ha, you have lost." Today I am exuberant, I am energetic, I am physical, and I am ready. I hate riots. I hate wars. I hate wars rather, but I love riots. I am in a riotous state today. No man.
Okay,
Contain me. So that case, for different reasons, the Chief Justice of Uganda, Alphonse Doro Owinye, is correct. But it is not correct to say they should repeat the hearing. They should now deliver the judgment. In the case of my fellow Kigesian, and then confirm the decision of the Constitutional Court that civilians
shouldn't be tried in
cannot be tried in military courts or tribunals. That's what I agree with. That's what we wrote in the Constitution.
There is some other point here which I wanted you to substantiate.
Yes.
And this is also a decision by Justice Musa Sekana, where Bazibu Bruno Francis was the applicant, and definitely versus the Attorney General and the Commission of Prisons and the Chief of Military Intelligence. But what really caught my eyes here is some sentence here, among others, that for the offense of being in unlawful possession of firearms, the court held that it had to be shown that the accused person, being civilians, were subject to military law.
That's correct. That decision of the Constitution is correct.
I think this is a High Court decision. By, for example, showing in the charge sheet that the weapons they were alleged to have been found possession of were ordinarily the monopoly of the defense forces. Now the question here, Justice Kanyeihamba, how would you differentiate between such fire ammunitions, that these ones are a monopoly of UPDF or police or other security agencies?
It's very easy. All weapons in the possession or custody of the army are classified, have numbers, and when they are issued, details of those guns are recorded in a book.
Great. Okay, now tell us, does that mean if you were found with an ammunition with a stamp, or if it's an army number of UPDF, and I am found with a gun that is literally belongs to police, chances are you might be tried in court martial and I could be tried in a civilian court?
No, you wouldn't.
So where is the difference?
Because the bullets are not a gun. If
Firearms.
If the law says don't possess chickens, and you found me with the eggs, have I committed an offense? But some of these legal questions are really common sense. You
are barred from possessing chicken, and they find you with an egg.
You can't charge me for possessing
it's not
chicken.
not to abuse the principle of sub judice.
Yes.
We have the former leader of ADF, that's forgetting the name, Jamil Mukuru, for example.
Yes.
He is not paraded before General Court Martial, but you have others paraded before the General Court Martial. Where is the logic in between the two?
There is no logic. Full stop. That's the answer. There is no logic to parade one ADF
leader in the
and then
others in other civilians.
There is no logic whatsoever.
Finally, this is another question to you. In your view, do you think there is a disconnect? Do you think there is a disconnect between government agencies? Because why would the Constitutional Court nullify any trial of civilians in the General Court Martial? Days later, you have General Court Martial parade civilians in its court. And they informed about such a ruling, or it's just being stubborn that the General Court Martial considers itself superior or otherwise?
No. You see, if all things were equal, I would say you are right to make that observation. But in Uganda, we have a number of categories of judges. Some are cadres of the movement. Others are corrupt.
That's another category.
Another category. The others are intimidated.
That's a third category.
That's a third category. If you, like the Deputy Chief Justice and Justice
Kakuru, one of the,
Kakuru, now Engonda Ntende has gone. He's in the other category. Still faithful to the administration of justice and are still not intimidated. So it depends on the quorum. If the Kakurus are a majority on a quorum,
the decision will be good.
You know the decision will be just and fair.
If the corrupt are many,
if the corrupt or the intimidated are in the quorum, we have trouble and wrong decisions, which is against justice.
My
no
last
question about that.
My last question, it's in regards to this very decision by the Constitutional Court, where they awarded costs to only the first petitioner. How fair is that? Because there are over 100 and so petitioners, 170 something, but the costs and damages were rewarded to just one petitioner. How?
My answer that is wrong also. If I am now representing the petitioners in petition 27 of 2001, if I have been the most vocal
with others,
then
we
are only two left now. Yeah. The others withdrew or told the court they are no longer interested
in the case.
Another one tried to deceive the court that he was a senior lawyer and he would represent us. When he saw me there, he ran away. So no problem. So if we get
damages,
they will be between me and Mr. Alex Wavamun. Nobody else. The others went out. If they had to say, we were also original,
Petitioners.
yeah, then I will tell you, it is like Professor Mazuri is saying when we defeated him, to remain dean, to continue as saying, I am dean.
So in your
That's
view,
the answer.
in your view, this decision here, where these other justices rather rewarded damages and costs to only
The
one
others
petitioner
should claim similar damages.
as given to...
You see, you can't be a fair judge if the people who have come to you
Yeah.
are 10
167
or 150 or 1,000,
and you give
and you give a judgment which affects them all, but you give one.
rewards to the first
That is
petition.
not even logical or in the name of God.
I want
That
you-
judgment is false.
I want you to close this show with your closing remarks, and definitely we shall meet Ugandans next week.
What I pray all Ugandans who have had me, whether they are the numbers you usually tell me or not, is spread this conversation I've had with my friend Norman. Spread it to all Ugandans, whether they are teachers, porters, peasants, mafuta mingi, or cadres of any party. Please, my plea to all Ugandans the world all over, spread the message Norman and I have articulated today in his question and answers and my review. That's the only thing I pray to all Christians who are true and fair, including Honorable Janet Museveni, who has written that indeed I am her true friend, to pray and speak and spread loudly in the world that the message by inspired Kanyeihamba, who was reported dead, is that the Chief Justice has said the judgment against him by the likes of Justice Ngondi Ntendi, who are his friends, is null and void. And it should be repeated so that they give the judgment to the parties who were proper parties to the petition. And on the part of the petitioners, there are only two of us left. Mr. Babamuno Alex and the Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Only any other judgment is false and treacherous to the principles of law and the Ubuntu of what most Bantu of Uganda, which has got an equivalent word in Luo, which I don't know, live by. And it is against God and the judicial oath of the president and above the law that if we don't remove these judgments, these corrupt and unconstitutional judgments, Uganda will still be regarded by people like Odinga, presidential of Kenya recently, and others like the new Sodom and Gomorrah of Africa. I pray that God bless you. God keeps me going to the time the doctors said I will live 10 to 20 years. And whether Museveni stands again in 2006, which I have said he should, I have said, I forgive you, but don't stand beyond 2026. Please, President Museveni, you know me. You know the inspiration I get from God. Finish your term, this one. But retire in the year 2026. Your son, you love him. He's called Muhoozi. He's now a general. He has told you the NRM is no longer useful to the welfare and development of this country. I know you love your son, General Muhoozi. Obey him and don't stand in 2026, because your son himself, whom you love and whom you cherish, has said he wants to replace you in the name and the honor of his mother. Some people think of other women, but others think he means Janet Museveni. Please, may the Lord bless all of you and keep you going until we have change, a new change in Uganda, witnessed by General Muhoozi, Museveni, and Janet, and the Chizari CJ, and Chagulani. Thank you.
Our viewers, catch you today. By the way, at 7 p.m. we will host the leader of opposition in Guyana's parliament, and that's at 7 p.m. today. So may God bless all of you.
Oh, by the way, one commercial I forgot. Our submissions and the copy of the judgment, I personally delivered it to the Speaker of Parliament and the leader of the opposition to circulate, to reproduce and circulate to all members of Parliament. So they have it.
Okay. Viewers, catch you in the evening today, 7 p.m. and also
The old
on my phone.
real issues, real talk.